Step one in this course is associated with your textbook, Focus on Writing, and specifically with pages 13 through 21 in that textbook. The work is anticipated to take about an hour. That's an estimation. Some students may take longer than that. Some students may not take that long, but you need to budget a good chunk of time where you can focus and study in order to push through this assignment. One of the things we're trying to do here is to have you think a little bit about the roles reading and writing play in inquiry, learning, and critical thinking. And if you don't know all of those words yet, it's okay. You'll become more familiar with them as we go through the course. In terms of the task description, that is, the description that will tell you what it is you'll be doing for this assignment, we need to be aware of a few things. The first thing that we want you to become aware of is that developing self-awareness of your reading and writing practices is an activity that will take some time. And you'll need to be open to the work, and you'll have to have enough curiosity about the subject to be successful with the work. So if you're not yet at that place, it might be good to take a few moments and again think about why you're in college and what you hope to get out of college, and then turn to the work and begin your engagement with this assignment. Now, I'm going to walk you through this assignment. I'm not going to read, every assignment to you, but as I walk you through this assignment, I'll try to point out a few things that may or may not be obvious or self-evident in the writing. So, to start, first, read Laurie McMillan's Focus on Writing, What College Students Want to Know, page 16. So you'll want to go to page 16 in your textbook before you do anything else and read it. This section, called Reading Actively, Reading Rhetorically, introduces a set of questions that any skilled reader needs to consider in order to read critically. So there's a series of questions on this page that are very important to know. Try to get in the habit of asking these questions about any source you read. And that's true for both this class and also many of your other classes at Husson University. Have these questions in mind as you engage with documents. I'll ask you to use these questions for readings throughout the semester. And one of the things to point out here is this idea that all of the individual assignments in this class are related to each other. They all depend on each other. So the ideas and concepts that come up in one assignment will very frequently be relevant to a later assignment. So it's really important to be fully engaged with all the work all the way through the course. Next, with rhetorical reading in mind, and that's a concept you will have more familiarity with once you finish your work on page 16, read through pages 13 through 21. That is, go back to page 13 and read through page 21. As you read, make note of any questions or thoughts that seem important to you while you're reading. These annotations will help you think through what you're reading, and they will serve as helpful notes when you review this reading later on in the course. So one of the things we're trying to encourage you to do here is to both read and annotate your reading. That is, to make notes of questions or comments that come up as you go through the material, so that you have those notes for later on in the course. And again, this connects to the idea that all of the assignments in this class are connected. After you have read and taken notes, compose a list that explains 5 diverse types of reading or writing, or reading-writing, that you have all recently done. Examples may include writing such as a tweet, a letter, a note, Snapchat, blog post, vlog, brochure, lunch menu, parking ticket, etc. So basically anything associated with writing and reading is fair game here. For each item on your list, provide a detailed response to the bolded questions on page 16. And then we have the questions here. Why was this written? Use the concept of exigence to guide your response. Now, I want to focus in on that term exigence. Exigence is a term that you will come across as you go through the reading for this assignment. You will come across a number of specific terms as you go through that material. These terms are specific in this class to the discipline of writing studies, and they will be relevant to all the work that you do. So becoming familiar with these terms, becoming familiar with these, we might call them vocabulary terms, will be fundamental to your success in the course. So one of the things you'll want to understand before you begin this writing is, what does the word exigence mean? Then to go to the next question about the writing reading, what kinds of purposes does it fulfill? Use the concept of kairos and genre to guide your response. Again, kairos and genre are terms you will come across in your reading, and you will need to understand these words well enough to be able to use them in your response. After you've fleshed out your list, conclude by writing an informal reflection on what reading and writing means to you based on the types of reading and writing mentioned in your list. To what extent is your reading and writing rhetorical and active? And you notice here, rhetorical and active are words that are in parentheses, quotation marks, excuse me. Rhetorical and active are in quotation marks. And this should get your attention and lead you to understand that these terms have specific definition in our reading. So can we explain these terms using the definitions that we find for them in our reading for this assignment? So once you've done all of that work, you will submit your detailed list and reflection to this assignment, and you will upload that assignment. You'll see the due date here. It's due by this day. You'll see how many points it's worth. You'll see the file types that are accepted. You'll get some sense of what this early rubric will look like. And once you have submitted that work, you will be ready for what comes next in the class.